To you, I may just look like a broken pot, but I am so much more than that. I am a political pot. I can use my head for more than just holding flowers. I have opinions. For example, I probably know more about the Rebellion Losses Bill than any other pot in the entire county. I was there through the whole ordeal, as I was situated in the governor's office holding some wilting daisies, when the entire government was in there fighting over that one silly little piece of paper. I was sitting there when the bill was actually drawn up. Those ridiculous men went over it so many times, debating on whether or not it should be passed. I can quote it directly. On the 28th day of February, 1845, a humble address was unanimously adopted by the Legislative Assembly of this province. That's all just formalities. And boy, did they ever talk about these things forever. It was suggested in 1845 and actually passed on April 25th, 1849. Why do people always have to say use such big words after they're elected? They only do it so nobody can understand what they're actually talking about or know what they're even doing. Well, I am here to help you out and explain what they are really talking about. The Rebellion Losses Bill was a way for the government to repay the rebels of the Lower Canada Rebellion for any damages to property during the rebellion. Like me, I have damaged goods, and it's going to take some serious surgery for me to ever be the pot I once was again. When the Rebellion Losses Bill was passed, the angry Chateau Clique came and destroyed my beautiful home in the Parliament buildings. The Chateau Clique were strongly opposed to the bill, as they thought that the government, with their money, would be repaying traitors. Lord/Government Elgin, the head of the government, did not particularly approve of this proposed bill either, but as Canada had just initiated responsible government, and this was the first test to see if it would be followed through with, Lord Elgin eventually decided against his better judgment, as well as many of his advisers' judgment, to pass the bill and have the Lower Canada rebels paid for any damages they suffered during the rebellion. I remember that bill so clearly. It stated, because of the unwanton or destruction of the dwelling buildings, properties, or effects of the said inhabitants, and from the seizure, taking, or carrying away of their property, and effects should be paid and satisfied, provided that none of the persons have been convicted of high treason. That was basically saying that if they had their property destroyed or something, that they would be repaid as long as they weren't criminals. That night, there was a mass outbreak of violence throughout Toronto and other cities. But the worst attacks were right here in Montreal. The Chateau Clique burned and destroyed buildings until they worked themselves into such a rage that they set their sights on the destruction of the Parliament buildings, which is how I came to be this way. The rioters ruined everything they could, and ambushed Lord Elgin in his carriage and threw garbage at him. But the bill was passed, and then the Lower Canada rebels were repaid for their losses. So now, that we have overcome the confusing language of government officials, you understand what the Rebellion Losses Bill means to Canada. It was seen as a way to patch the holes in the country and make allies, but it was taken in a way that was not expected and ended up in more chaos. Now, would you kindly find a blacksmith, or a potter, or even some kid playing in the mud and have me repaired?